are known for traffic stops. Now the state has compiled a list of the places that make the most from those traffic fines. Local government manager for the state officer's office, Seth Ovison, says it doesn't necessarily mean those cities give out the most tickets.
If you're dealing with a very small town and their general government revenues are smaller, those traffic fees are going to make up a bigger percentage of their budget.
Rounding out the top of the list are Sunset, Manaway, and Wellsville. To see the rest of the top 10 list, just visit kslnewsradio.com. We hope to get an update this morning on the condition of a man that crashed his truck into a parked car in Daybreak, and that sent his truck rolling into Ochre Lake. We're also hearing this morning from two men who jumped into action to save the driver's life. Christian Doffermeyer was leaving a work site when he tells KSL TV he saw the truck slam into a car, flip over a cement barrier, and land in the water.
I jumped in the water and I started checking the truck to see if there's anyone inside of there.
Another man who lives nearby also jumped in to help, getting the man out of the truck and then performing CPR.
But I just know if I was ever in that situation, I would want people to act like how I did.
Police say the truck has been removed from the lake and they are trying to figure out what led to the crash. Markets are closed today for Good Friday, but coming up, we'll get a look at the clouds in the forecast, see when those storms will move out. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time, 9:02. Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Breaking news! Dan the Laptop Man here from PC Laptops. Scalpers are gouging consumers for video cards for computers. Some of these are selling for $1,000, $1,500 more than they're actually MSRP priced, and scalpers are trying to rip you by taking advantage of the tariff situation. But the good news is at PC Laptops, we bought way ahead of time. So for right now, our computers are not going to be marked up 25 to 50% like most of our competitors. In fact, you can get a desktop or laptop for only $9.99. And to make it extra easy, we're doing 12 months zero interest financing on approved credit. Desktop or laptop from $9.99 and no scalper pricing, pre-tariff pricing for you. Get into PC Laptops right now because we love you. PCLaptops.com. PCLaptops.com.
Howdy, folks. It's me again. And surprise, it's tomato frenzy time at J&J Garden Center in Layton. Right now, all large-size tomato plants are only $2.99 each. That's half price and grown from seed right here at J&J. And while you're here, pick up a bag or two of J&J's private label all-purpose premium topsoil to help strengthen your vegetable garden for only $5.98 a cubic foot bag. So come to the Tomato Frenzy sale at J&J Garden Center in Layton, where they have the best products at the best price and the best employees, too. Take the Layton Parkway exit, Main Street to Gentile, then west 2 miles. You got to see it to believe it. You really do.
Country grown to your home, J&J Garden Center.
Go from daydreamer to industry leader with Amazon Business. From office supplies to IT essentials, Amazon Business provides tools that help you save costs and make insight-based decisions. Learn how to bring your visions to life at AmazonBusiness.com.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com, sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Whether you're shaping up a small yard or tackling serious acreage, Steel walk-behind zero-turn and stand-on mowers are built to get the job done. Shop online or at your local Steel dealer. Steel, let's go mow. Available at participating dealers.
Any Hour Services free furnace sale is going on right now. If you haven't scheduled your free estimate yet, do it now. Call Any Hour Services today or schedule online at anyhourservices.com.
We have emergency traffic and weather brought to you by Mountain America's My Style checking account with built-in benefits. And here's Heather Kelly.
Well, US 89 remains a parking lot right now southbound for at least 2 miles going from Kaysville into Fruit Heights. It's due to a multi-vehicle crash that happened several hours ago. Now, the good news is they now have 2 left lanes open in the area, US 89 at Main Street. It had only 1 lane open for a long time, but now you've got 2 lanes. Hopefully, things will start moving a little bit better. Heavy snow continues to fall at the south end of Utah County, making for very wet, slick road conditions. And the same up in Parley's Canyon. We've had a couple of rollovers, but those seem to have been cleared out now near the summit of Parley's Canyon. Say goodbye to expensive granite and say hello to luxurious style for about a third of the price with laminate countertops from CountertopFactoryLLC.com. See for yourself at CountertopFactoryLLC.com. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Mostly cloudy today with some rain and snow showers this morning. The highs will be in the about 50 degrees. It should warm up tomorrow with sunshine, a high of 57, tomorrow 66 on Easter Sunday. Right now it's cloudy and 36 degrees downtown. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at KSLNewsRadio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories. On KSL News Radio, Dave and Dujanovic. Dave and Dujanovic. Special coverage of the top local story.
Our developing story this morning is a big deal for the sports world and I think for fans of Real Soccer. The Miller family made an announcement today that they are acquiring Real Salt Lake Soccer and the Utah Royals. And Dave, I am here for it.
You should be here for it. The Millers have been absolutely fantastic sports owners. They started off with the Jazz. They purchased the Bees. They've been involved for so many decades, and they have an incredible track record. There was a focus, though, from the Miller company that they were going to focus on Major League Baseball. So I will say a little bit surprised that they jumped into the soccer game.
We expect a news conference this morning, or a big announcement to officially take place at 10:30. We will carry it live right here on KSL News Radio. It will happen at America First Field in Sandy, and we have crews down there and gathering down there right now. We're starting to gather down there for our live coverage throughout the show here. But let's start first with Scott Gerard.
Scotty G, appreciate you taking the time to join us this morning. Like I said, a little bit surprising that the Millers got into the soccer game. I guess I was so focused on baseball and their push to bring professional baseball, Major League Baseball here, that soccer is a great surprise.
Well, and Dave, I think that's the million-dollar question that a lot of people are wondering right now. Does this mean that baseball is still is no longer a priority for the Miller family? And the answer to that is baseball absolutely still is their major priority. This is a opportunity for them to build their resume, so to speak, to Major League Baseball, that they are not messing around and getting back into the sports world. I'm not saying that RSL is a means to an end. It is something that they're very passionate about, and it's something that they're very excited about getting back into the sports world and giving Real Salt Lake a little bit more of a local feel to it. Now, I know a lot of people out there believe that Ryan Smith was the owner, and Ryan Smith was part of the ownership group, but David Blitzer, who is not a local, who owns several other professional teams, was the primary owner of Real Salt Lake. Ryan Smith was a minority owner. Well, David Blitzer has sold the majority of his share to the Millers. Ryan Smith has also sold his, so the Millers will be the primary owners of Real Salt Lake going forward, with the intention of still wading very much into the waters of Major League Baseball if and when that time comes.
Scott Gerard of KSL Sports, the Hans and Scotty G show on KSL Sports Zone from noon to 3. What was your reaction, Scott, when you found out that the Millers were getting involved in soccer here locally? And they're not only buying into Real Salt Lake, but also the Utah Royals, the women's team.
Yes, and we had caught wind of this several weeks ago, that this was going on behind the scenes, and this was something that got me very excited, because The Miller Group, I've had ties with them for a long, long time, and obviously have been great stewards of sports here in Utah for so long. And it just felt right, honestly, because when they got out of sports, and again, they didn't get out completely. Dave, as you mentioned, that they still own the Bees, but it just didn't feel like Utah if the Millers aren't in the sports world in some way, shape, or form. And the family, of course, Gail Miller still the matriarch of the family, and Steve Starks running the day-to-day operations. It just feels right to have them back in the sports world, and it feels right to have them with a professional team and really providing that local tie that we had with Larry Miller for so many years here.
Part of what is so fascinating to me, Scotty, is that you've got the Miller and the Smith Entertainment Groups working together, selling, the Millers sold to Smith for the Jazz, and now the Millers are buying Real from Smith. I mean, it's just so interesting that you have what are competitors working together and selling to one another. It's very odd to me.
Yeah, it is kind of an interesting situation. By all accounts, it is a maybe competition is the right word, but it is a very friendly relationship between the two groups. And now with Real Salt Lake back into the Millers' hands, and hopefully, I think I can speak for all sports fans, hopefully the owners of Major League Baseball here in the next 2 to 3 years, that this is a great relationship between the two. But make no mistake, I mean, there's only so many corporate dollars and so many fans that have their entertainment dollars available. So it will be a friendly rivalry to see who can fill their stands and who can get those corporate dollars and who can generate as much money as they possibly can on their individual teams. Because honestly, we're in a world right now, and anybody that's out there as a salesman, you realize that you're better off when you can combo sell something. And the Jazz and the Utah Hockey Club have been very good for the Smith Entertainment Group in being able to combo sell two professional franchises. And I think if / when Major League Baseball comes here, then it's something that the Miller family can look at and say, okay, we can offer you Bees, we can offer you Major League Soccer, and we can offer you Major League Baseball. And so it will be a good, healthy rivalry that I think the fans here in Utah will benefit from.
Do you think it's going to look different on game day, so to speak? Are we going to feel a difference? Because I think a lot of people saw this Real Salt Lake ownership group of Blitzer and Smith and thought, hey, this is going to be incredible. Do we expect an upgrade? Do we expect game day changes? What is it going to look like for the fan now that the Millers take over?
I think that over the course of this season, I don't think anybody's going to really recognize significant changes immediately. I don't think you're going to see that. I think that if you're a Real Salt Lake season ticket holder and you went to a game last week, over the next month or so, you're going to go to games and they're going to feel exactly the same. I don't think there's going to be significant changes there. I think what you're going to see over the long term, though, is the fact that you have local owners who have very deep pocketbooks. I do think that you'll see a stronger commitment to winning immediately and trying to provide a championship here. Not that the David Blitzer group wasn't excited about that, but when you're off-site and you don't have that local skin in the game, you may not have that accountability that you will have if you're the Miller Group and you're in this community. You are the face of professional sports here in the state of Utah for so many decades with the Utah Jazz. So you realize that your name being attached to a team, and if they're not winning at a high level, then people know exactly who you are, and they know exactly who to be grumpy with. And so I think that if you are a huge fan of Real Salt Lake, this is a very good day for you because the Miller family is committed about winning, and they realize that, okay, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it the right way because that's how they handle their business. they do things the right way, and they'll make winning a high priority as soon as possible.
Scotty, thank you so much for joining us. Scott Gerard, KSL Sports Zone, Hans and Scotty G Show. You guys are going to be talking about this all day, I'm sure, from 12 to 3 p.m. Thanks, Scott.
And plus, we'll have live coverage, of course, during the official announcements, which we will carry live here at 10:30 when it begins at Real Salt Lake Stadium down in Sandy. Amy Donaldson, producer and host of Making of a Moment, the podcast all about Real Salt Lake. I want to walk through the fan experience because I do think there's going to be some changes. According to what I'm reading in the Deseret News, it looks like they're going to start some renovations eventually on the field to kind of upgrade. I mean, it's a nice field already, but maybe they'll do some upgrades there. And also, I think the fan experience around outside the field will be enhanced if they do what they've done in my community out there in Daybreak, where they just opened up the Bees Stadium. What was it, last week? I went to my first game last week, and it is a phenomenal stadium with like restaurants, that are going to open up, and there's a bowling alley there and that kind of thing. But let's start with what your reaction is to the fact that, what is it, 4 owners now, Amy? In 10 years or so? Is that about right?
Well, see, yeah. So it was officially sold in 2013 from Dave Checketts to Deloy Hansen, and then we had this new ownership group come in last year. And so, yeah, you're looking at 4 owners. Although I will say that the majority minority. Now that there's ownership groups, it's a little bit more complicated than like just one person owning a team, one owner. But I'm super excited about it. I actually covered the Bees when the Millers bought them from Joe Buzis, and I saw almost immediately a change in what was available to fans. And one thing I will say about the Millers is they see sports teams as a community asset. And I got to know Steve Miller, who's going to be the chairman of both teams, both the Royals and RSL, during the Tour of Utah. And I saw them build the Tour of Utah from this like little local, sort of America trying to get in on a cycling thing to one of a prized international race. And they did it through storytelling, involving the community. And they've always really tried to make something available to people who cannot afford to buy tickets. If you remember when the Jazz were playing in the finals, they put up big screen TVs out on the outside of the Delta Center, and that's where I covered that playoff run against the Bulls, was outside with people some of whom had never been inside the arena, but felt like they were part of this playoff run, because the Millers have always had this eye for how can everybody benefit from this, even if you don't go into the stadium and participate in the games.
I think it was a little bit surprising because when we heard about the Blitzer, Ryan Smith group purchasing RSL, I don't think we fully understood or realized that David Blitzer, who owns the New Jersey Devils, the Philadelphia 76ers, and he has acknowledged this in interviews, that it was hard to be back east and to run the day-to-day operations here. And he said, quite frankly, they deserve more, they need more, and this is where the Millers step in.
Yeah, and I think they've done some things within the organization, bringing Jason Kreis back in. But because I think one of the things, you still have a gap, I think, in like sports management, even in sports media, about the understanding of what is an international game. Most of our sports are exports to the world. Soccer is an import. Soccer is the world's game, and so there still is this little bit of a gap between the understanding of even the biggest sports fans about how to run a team and what makes you successful. I think that's definitely changing, but I think the Millers coming in and the changes that have been made internally by the Blitzer Group and Ryan Smith, I think things are going to really take off. I'm very excited about it, especially for the Royals, who deserve more investment. The Millers are amazing at storytelling. I covered the WNBA and spent a ton of time with Larry Miller during that time, talking to him about women's sports and about storytelling and what the women don't get that the men have. And I'm excited about it.
Amy Donaldson, one of our colleagues, of course, here at Broadcast House, has covered sports for years and years, and also is the producer and host of a recently dropped podcast, Making of a Moment, all about Real Soccer And that podcast is just phenomenal. And not being like the type of soccer fan, like you are, Amy, I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I thoroughly enjoyed the last time you and I went out, like, was it last fall that we went out to watch a Royals game out there, the women's soccer team there. And I want to talk more, though, about the fan experience, because I think that's where most people who are listening are going to be able to relate to. I can tell you when my daughter and I went out to the Bees last week for our inaugural, game. It was our first game out at the new stadium. We really enjoyed it, and I know there's still work to be done out there, out in South Jordan at the ballpark, but they've done a great job bringing in other types of entertainment, which I think was missing on the 13th South and Main Street at Smith's Ballpark here for so many years. And that is a bowling alley, a theater's right there. It looks like a couple of restaurants are on the docket to open up pretty soon. There's going to be a concert venue out there where the community will hold summer concert series. And so I love the blossoming of lots of different venues to draw people out and keep them there in the community, make them, for 4 or 5 or 6 hours, not just for 2 hours or 3 hours of the game. So what do you think America First Field needs around it in order to enhance the fan experience?
Well, you nailed it, because what studies have shown is that building these stadiums doesn't actually benefit the community around it economically. And if you've traveled at all and looked and gone to stadiums, you know that oftentimes stadiums are in really rough neighborhoods. They're not walkable. As a woman covering sports, I have had to do a lot of things to protect myself and feel safe covering even Olympic event, even walking to and from Olympic venues. So the thing that's different, you mentioned the new ball fields in Daybreak, if they can make the community around it a safer place to walk. Like even downtown, there's times where just walking from a restaurant to the stadium, you just don't feel safe. And those are things they have to address. Like there has to be everybody thinks of restaurants, but there are all kinds of things and ways you could engage and benefit the community around there so that game day is actually game day. Like like you said, you're going there, you're doing a little Christmas shopping, and then you're going to dinner, and then you might take the kids bowling, and then they take tracks home or whatever. But there's a lot of ways in which, if you build up the community around it, and if you look at their plans for the Major League Stadium, it's the same kind of situation. If you invest in the community around it, then you lift up and you change this trend that we've had in America of just building this billion-dollar stadium and making the stadium the only thing that makes money. Don't bring your food and drinks in. Only people with tickets can come in. If you make it more a jewel that you build really beautiful things around, I would love to see bike paths connect there and walking and running trails connect there. Those are all things that make it safer, make it in use 365 days a year.
Yeah.
Well, and the fact that you've got Jordan Commons right across the street, just to the east of America First Field, I think is significant, again, when we're talking about movies, restaurants, businesses. The reason we're talking about this, we're talking to Amy Donaldson, a longtime journalist with the Deseret News, is the Miller Company, the former Jazz owners are going to purchase Real Salt Lake. The announcement's going to happen at 10:30 today. It's going to be an event that is live streamed. We'll carry it here on KSL News Radio at America First Field, but it's a huge development that the Millers are getting back into the professional sports realm, the major league sports realm, acquiring Real Salt Lake.
Yeah. Amy, you're going to be out there this morning?
I will be out there, and I would say this: they have the track stop there, and as a woman who covered the games, I often couldn't finish before track stopped running. So there are issues that the city and the Millers, everybody has to look at. There's no lighting back there. I didn't feel safe. So there are things.
Well,
like
and you
that
you have to park I park usually west of State Street there. The last time you and I went to the game, and times that I've been out there for the station and with my kids, I park on the west side, and it's a parking lot there, which is great. It's a private parking, but then when you're walking back and maybe you're running a little behind, and as you stated, if you're a news reporter, you're working, you can't leave with the flow of foot traffic. And I would agree with you. And it's also, State Street's a really busy location down there, right there at, 90th, 9400 South, 100, like, you go into that area there with, is it Mount, the Expo Center right across the street there. So there may be some foot traffic issues that do need to be addressed, but certainly that'll be a collaboration of many entities.
Remember that soccer is switching to the MLS is switching to an international schedule. So right now it's kind of a winter to fall league, ends in early December sometimes, but it's going to flip flop. So it's going to mirror, which is another reason I understand why Ryan Smith would want to get out. Having two leagues running, he would be in it's a third league running in this, fall to spring. So remember that's going to happen too. So that's another issue to take into consideration.
So the schedule will go from fall to spring now? Or in the future?
Just like international soccer, yeah. And so you're going to have games being played in an outdoor stadium in the winter here. And, those are all considerations. I'm sure that's being contemplated in renovations. But you talk about the Expo Center. That's where Festival of Trees is. That's where all those holiday, things. I mean, it could turn out to be an amazing situation, or the worst traffic nightmare ever imagined.
Finally, you have some parking, though. I'll say that you finally have some parking. So we appreciate
Thanks,
it, Amy Donaldson. Thank you so much for joining us again. We are looking forward to that announcement at 10:30. Today, we will carry that here on KSL News Radio as the Millers are going to purchase from Ryan Smith and the Entertainment Group, David Blitzer, Real Salt Lake.
Straight ahead, Salt Lake City police officers get a pay raise. I couldn't believe how much the pay raise was. We're going to talk about that. We'll tell you how much it is next.
Jeff Kaplan.
When I was a kid, my parents got me a subscription to Newsweek magazine. I would devour every page into the night. And to this day, I sit on my iPad looking for stories for my Minute of News, flesh out our coverage, and I get to share the news with you.
Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News, 3 to 7 on KSL News Radio.
Do you have a garage door guy? You do now. Advanced Garage Doors. They've been around for a hot minute now, and they have some incredible offers right now for KSL listeners.
That's right. Think about this. A free garage door opener when you purchase a garage door. That's perfect, right? That's just what you need. You need both. In fact, make sure that you ask them about their financing, because that's also available. So the KSL listener special list goes like this. The free garage door opener when you purchase a garage door, just said that. Free garage door inspection with no obligation. And then $100 off any parts needed for a repair.
Man, I wish I would have thought about the whole garage door inspection years ago when my garage door sounded like a tank crawling over my house. It was so noisy. Yeah. It was old. And I think had they come out, looked at the spring, the balance, the rollers themselves, I could have breathed a lot of life into that, because garage doors can be a little bit pricey. So if you can repair it, then absolutely repair it with Advanced Garage Door. They have that great deal going on. So make sure you reach out to them. The website is advanced-door.com. That's advanced-door.com.
Let me give you the phone number. It's 801-989-3667, 801-989-DOOR.
Hey there, I'm Jack.
And I'm Stag.
We're just two deer that want to make sure you know it's deer season at your authorized John Deere dealer. The deer season that saves bucks, like us.
Yeah, you can get $3,000 off select John Deere machines. No early wake-up calls or tree stands required.
Just a trip to your authorized dealer before June 2nd.
If you ask us, it's the only deer season worth celebrating.
Visit johndeere.com/deer season to find an authorized dealer and for complete finance details.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things. People. Love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, today through Sunday. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, today through Sunday. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates, this weekend only. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Hot tub starting at $2,999. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Today, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission, free parking, free delivery. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
Life can feel hard or overwhelming sometimes, but you don't have to face things alone. Getting help for yourself or someone you're worried about starts with a call or text to 988, where you always have someone to talk to, someone to help you, and somewhere safe to go. 988 Utah is here for anyone experiencing mental health challenges or emotional distress. 988 Utah can even help you navigate how to support your struggling loved ones. Whether you're struggling with anxiety, depression, or suicidal thoughts, trained professionals are ready to listen and provide free, confidential support 24/7. Utah, don't hesitate to call or text 988 for you or someone you care about. The caring staff at 988 Utah can connect you to the right resources. Learn more at 988.utah.gov.
9:30 at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story: a man is facing charges after police say he stabbed his coworker after a fight. It happened at a construction site off Washington Fields Road in Washington City. St. George News reports 20-year-old Samir Alexis De Leon Martinez was new to the job and had only been working with the crew for a few days. He ran from the scene but was later found near a park. He is facing multiple charges. A drug bust led to a warehouse full of stolen items, drugs, and weapons in Springville. Police say they found two men passed out in a car. One of them, Matthew George Dunford, later admitted to using heroin. They found drugs in the car at the time. Police later got called to a warehouse for a possible trespassing situation. The warehouse was full of the stolen items and was linked to Dunford. He is facing multiple charges. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. The search is on for a motive after police say the stepson of a sheriff's deputy killed 2 people and injured 6 others at Florida State University. ABC's Faith Abube is there.
Chaos in and around the Student Union building as gunshots rang out just before noon Thursday.
I heard about 12 shots go off in my vicinity, probably around 300 feet from me.
Police analyzing disturbing video which appears to show a man squaring off and firing. People heard screaming as they ran for cover. More than 3 hours after the first gunshots, the school announcing law enforcement neutralized the threat. Authorities say they shot him after he ignored repeated commands to drop his weapon.
Police say they shot the gunman after he ignored those commands. The markets are closed today for Good Friday, but we'll get a look at this weather forecast coming up. Cloudy today, sunny tomorrow. KSL weather is next. KSL News Time is 9:32. A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
You know how they always used to ask you in grade school, what do you want to be when you grow up? I bet I'm the only kid who ever stood proud and said, I want to be a rain gutter or siding installer. Jim Jr. here with RGS Exteriors, and man, I can still remember all those wannabe astronauts and quarterbacks looking at me like I was an idiot. Who would want to install rain gutters or siding? Somebody who was a 4th generation in business. That's who. My great-grandfather, T.R. Brown, started the company in the 50s. Then my grandfather took over from him, then my dad, Tim Sr., and now I've been at the helm since 2005. Every day I wake up and think, man, I'm living the dream. And now my own kids are starting to work in the business too. 5 generations. If you want gutters, siding, windows, or any exteriors on your home, and a company that really cares deep down to our souls, give RGS a call. 801-280-3110 or find us online, rgsutah.com. That's rgsutah.com. 801-280-3110, rgsutah.com.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America's My Style checking account with built-in benefits. And here's Heather Kelly.
Well, the delays are finally gone from US 89 up in Davis County. Now, you still have the right lane and shoulder blocked southbound US 89 right at Main Street in Fruit Heights. And many of the vehicles that were involved in a 20-car pileup are still on the road trying to be cleaned up. But at least all the delays are gone. 2 left lanes are open there. If you're southbound I-15 in Davis County, looks like we just have a smidgen of slowing, a few brake lights showing up as you move between Farmington and Centerville. But for the most part, everyone is now at speed across the Wasatch Front. But you do still have heavy snow falling in the Springville area, Spanish Fork. So roads down in southern Utah County extremely wet, as well as very wet through Parley's Canyon. And if you see something we haven't talked about, let us know on the KSL Mountain Home Services text line at 57500. Replenish Landscape provides the finest compost and landscape products for flower and vegetable gardens. Start your season right with Replenish. Visit replenishcompost.com. Replenish, it's good stuff. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
Cloudy today with rain and snow possible this morning. A high's around 50, but it should warm up tomorrow. Sunny tomorrow with 57 for a high 66 on Easter Sunday. Right now it's cloudy and 37 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
Salt Lake City Police Department gets a 7% pay raise day. I was like, oh, well, what does that mean? So I was on their Facebook page last night. I was on Facebook and I scrolled past this. I'm like, what? Starting officer pay is now going to be bumped up in June to more than $35 an hour for a new officer.
Starting pay, $35 an hour. That's about $73,000 a year. That's without any overtime either. That's $73,000 a year.
Wasn't it just a few years ago we were talking about how low the pay was?
I'm so glad you brought that up. I just pulled up the numbers because I'm like, am I remembering this right? Because when you say $35 an hour for starting pay, I remember when it was $20 an hour.
When was
and I
that?
wanted to look how far back that was. 2019.
Oh.
Not long ago.
Yeah.
2019, the average starting salary was $20 an hour, $20.50 an hour. It was about $42,000 a year annually. Now you look, that's a $30,000 leap in just the last 6 years.
So that's starting pay.
Yes.
$35.52 an hour starting in June, according to the Salt Lake City Police Department's Facebook post. But you can top out eventually, got enough years on, at $50.39 an hour. And I think that's probably before any sort of promotion. So you get promoted to sergeant, you can make more, you get promoted to lieutenant, then captain, then, deputy chief, chief deputy, whatever the title is, assistant chief, and then chief. You can make more. But as an officer, you can top out at $50.39 an hour. So do the quick math on that.
$102,000. 102,000. Wow. So great point. If you promote up, it's even more. Your deputy chief right now is making close to $200,000 in Salt Lake. So this is a major move forward for police officers. Again, I was absolutely shocked when I found out back in 2019 that cops were making $20 an hour to put their lives on the line every single day. I'm like, for $20 an hour.
It's why for so long we've seen a difficult time. Police departments bringing on new officers. The pay was $40,000 a year, and over the years, the different departments, we have a lot of different departments along the Wasatch Front, have given officers pay raises and adjustments to pay. So it's moving up. But here's where I went, well played, Salt Lake PD, well played. So here's the line in the Facebook post I want to run by you. If you're a lateral officer, so that means you're working for another department, they're offering an $8,500 sign-on bonus at the Salt Lake City Police Department. Just go knock on the door there.
I'm out.
$8,500. So what do we? They're poaching police officers or attempting to poach police officers. It's nothing new. They do that in this industry. They do that in other industries too. But they bring on other officers and to get them from other departments and to get them enticed to think about coming over. They drop a little signing bonus there. A sign-on bonus is what they're calling of $8,500,
which is super smart because obviously trying to train somebody, get them up to speed can be extremely expensive. So if you can just grab a lateral officer with somebody that has experience and bring them straight over, it's well worth the $8,500.
So then I ran to the comments on their Facebook post because I wanted to see how the public was weighing in on this and what they felt about it. And this was pretty, mostly a lot of support for it. One person said, "This is amazing, definitely well deserved," and another one's like, "Well, you better improve training, or that kind of thing." Or, "What about the teachers?" That was another comment. The other person says, "Great news, very well deserved," and then another person says, "Other cities and towns and counties will hopefully follow suit." It's sometimes it's a tough thing for the public to swallow when they hear police officers are making $70,000 to $102,000 a year, and then they can promote up the ranks, and then they can make upwards of $125,000 or $130,000 or $140,000 a year. And I understand that. I mean, as a journalist, I've done plenty of stories tackling salaries of public officials and bringing awareness so the public knows, this person's making $150,000 a year or whatever it is. But I will say this, and look, full transparency, he's married to a police officer. He promoted up the ranks eventually, to the top of his career game. And I would say this, it's really pretty easy from a safe distance to bash on police officers' salaries. But when you need them in the moment, they're priceless. Yeah. And I know can be a lot of conflict out there with cops. We see it, we cover it here at Broadcast House. I've covered different conflicts and situations that, do not end well, that involve police officers. But when you need them in the moment, when someone's breaking into your house, when your child is choking to death, when your car flips upside down in a river, and I'm speaking to situations that I know my ex-husband was involved with as a police officer, when the bank down the street that he's driving by is being robbed, by somebody with a gun, they're priceless. So I think what I always think of is like, well, what's the alternative? Do we not pay cops a reasonable, livable wage, and then we have got nobody signing up to be police officers? Or we train them, we spend the money to train them, and then they leave the profession after a few years, and so now we got to start over again. So that's just kind of how I think through this. It's like, well, which way is it? How do we want our society to look, and how does society look without cops?
We want the best, the brightest to be our police officers. And what we have seen over the years, and we've done many stories on this, police academies are having a terrible time with recruitment, trying to get people to show up. And when you raise this price, when you say, hey, you can make $35 an hour, you can top out at $50 an hour, that's six figures. I mean, you are bringing in a lot of people that say, okay, maybe this wasn't my calling. There's a lot of police officers who are like, I always wanted to be a cop. My dad was a cop. It's a family thing. This was my calling. Well, you also want to recruit people that look at this and say, I can provide for my family in this career. This is a viable career path. Mm-hmm. And when you look at the $35 an hour, when you look at the pension program, this all of a sudden becomes something that is absolutely a career path where you can have a very good middle-class life. And when you're bringing in a lot of different people, you can pick and choose the best of the best, which is exactly what we want, because are police officers flawed? Do they make mistakes? Sometimes, absolutely. So let's make sure that we're not lowering the standards because we're desperate for police. Let's keep as high a standard as possible.
Well, as usual, my Debbie Downer moment, I don't want to paint a total picture of like roses and rainbows, right? It's a stressful career on the family too. Not every family is going to have the same experience, but it can take a toll, you know.
For sure.
And it's a very dynamic career. So I think there's a lot of thought that needs to go into it, a lot of discussion that needs to go into it. Look, I married into it, you know, so I was willing to accept that, and I'm glad I did. You know, it was a great run. It had its moments, were ups and downs, but there's a lot more than just dollar signs that need to be considered with any career, but particularly when you're a first responder.
It's Bullfrog Spa's Backyard Makeover Sale. Time to transform your backyard with unbeatable deals on Bullfrog Spa's hot tubs and swim spas. Right now, get up to $4,000 off MSRP on a premium new hot tub or swim spa, or up to 30% off clearance models. Plus, with special financing available, it's the perfect time to upgrade your outdoor space for ultimate comfort at an unbeatable price. Don't miss out on your dream spa at your nearby Bullfrog Spa's factory store today.
Bullfrog Spas. Peaceful body, peaceful mind, peaceful home.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Serving in the military requires great sacrifices, not just for one's country, but also for one's family. Not surprisingly, divorce for soldiers is especially difficult, and it raises a number of challenges that are peculiar to military divorce, things such as deployments, relocation, retirement benefits. These issues can be complicated, and the lawyer you choose needs to be equipped to handle them. So if you're a soldier facing such challenges, go to CordellCordell.com.
While the weather's mild, it's a perfect time to get your air conditioner ready for summer. What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and the next time you're outside, take a look at your air conditioner. There's a few things you can do to avoid common breakdowns that happen at the beginning of the season. If you covered it for the winter, uncover it. If the bushes and shrubs are growing around it, make sure you trim them back about 18 to 24 inches. If the coils are dirty, rinse them off with your garden hose. Then go inside and make sure you have a clean filter. If you do all that and find yourself with an air conditioner that isn't working, consider calling Any Hour Services. We have an air conditioner troubleshooting special for any homeowners listening. For only $29, we'll send a certified HVAC technician to your home to troubleshoot why your air conditioner isn't working. Then they'll give you a summary of their findings and present you options to repair it. To find out why your air conditioner isn't working for only $29, call Any Hour Services today at 801-443-7400. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Dave, and Dujanovic.
We had a real tragedy just down the street from my house unfolding yesterday afternoon, Dave. And you said you got the alert about the crash in Daybreak, where a truck goes flying down almost like a side street. It is a road, but it's like a side street, and just bashes into another car and then goes into Ochre Lake. And you were worried about me because, you know, I walk that path where that car ended up racing down and flipping into the lake pretty regularly. You were worried about me.
Yeah, exactly. As soon as I saw that cross, I thought that this is your neighborhood, right by the lake. So I pull up the story. I see that it was a truck that had flipped, and I realized it wasn't you. But once we started seeing the pictures, Chopper 5 was out there, the Ring doorbell cams that came out, it was incredible to watch.
So it turns out that just a bunch of people heard the crash. It was a very powerful, it was, as you said, captured on doorbell camera footage. And of course, if you're in that area, you live right there, you saw it or you heard it, people came running. It was remarkable in this moment to see this truck in the lake, somebody inside of it, and neighbors, strangers, people who were just driving by came running at lightning speed to pull this person out of the truck. And that, to me, was the moment when I saw this video. I was like, I feel so lucky to live in this community and to live in Utah, because I know anybody would do that if they heard or saw that going on.
When you start questioning humanity and all the bad things that are going on right now, you watch that video as this truck goes crashing into the lake. Yeah. People are pouring out of this house, Debbie, dead sprint, absolutely sprinting, diving into the water, to rescue this person.
Yeah. I just saw some people on the lake the other day kayaking. Of course, I walk right by this area around, I call it Daybreak Lake, but it's officially Ochre Lake. A lot of people do. It's a bike path and a pedestrian path, and where this car came crashing down, I don't know how many hundreds of times I've walked by that area. When I was training for a half marathon, that's exactly my running route. And other people are in that area with their dogs, with their kids, on bikes, on scooters, and I was like, oh, by the grace, nobody got swept up into the lake when that truck went crashing in. But I really want to give a shout out and a high five to those good Samaritans who stopped and dropped everything and went running to get this driver out of the truck. Was that truck just flipped upside down, Dave, in the lake? KSL Television's Sarah Martin was out there yesterday, and she spoke to the people that were just in a rush to help.
When I pulled him out, he was almost purple.
Christian was driving away from a work site when this black truck blew past him. He watched the truck slam into this empty white car, hit a cement barrier, then flip into the water.
I jumped in the water and I started checking the truck to see if there's anyone inside of there.
He found the driver and managed to drag him out of the truck.
I heard scraping, and it sounded like a snowplow, some metal scraping. I looked out my window and I saw the truck upside down, kind of coming to a rest in the water.
Chris Hubbard lives just feet away from the water and ran out to help.
So he was underwater for probably about 2 minutes before we were able to get him out. I performed CPR until the paramedics arrived and took over.
Chris says he performed chest compressions for about 5 minutes, his first time giving CPR since his scuba certification years ago.
Felt just very similar to doing it on the mannequins. I didn't really have to think about it, just did what I was trained to do.
And it just speaks about the community that we have here in Daybreak. Our community is very strong here, and you can see that just from an unknown individual needing help and everyone rushing to their aid.
But I just know if I was ever in that situation, I would want people to act like how I did.
Joining us right now from South Jordan, Mayor Don Ramsey. And Mayor, thank you for joining us. When we watched that video, we've seen the pictures, just so terrifying. Do we have any more information on what happened?
Good morning. What a tragic video. I saw that video because I wasn't there in person to see it happen either. And my heart about skipped a beat. It caught my breath. I don't have any updates this morning on the ongoing investigation. There's quite a bit being investigated with such an unexpected and shocking accident as this. I don't have any updates this morning. But if I may, can I join you and both of you and Debbie in giving a high five and a shout out to the many people who poured out. It moved me. It made me a little bit emotional to see the response because the accident is tragic. And it seems a miracle to me that there were no other people in the area. It is such a popular, busy area for families and dogs and kids and pedestrians and people in the area. I think it's a miracle that no one else was hurt. And I just can't say enough thank you to the heroes, who in my mind are heroes, who dropped everything and went to pull that gentleman out of the truck.
Yeah, and Mayor, I mean, I don't want to catch you off guard on the air, but boy, it would be sure nice to recognize these folks at a city council meeting coming up or something that the city can do, because I just felt like they needed a big old high five from everybody in the community and a standing ovation. And to your point about nobody in that area, I mean, I think about the kids who scooter in that area, the people on bikes in that area, and it's a bit of a blind corner if you don't know that lake. That a lot of the townhomes are built up. There's a retaining wall, and the townhomes are built up overlooking the lake. And every time I come around that corner, I kind of peek to make sure nobody on a bike is coming down or a scooter or something like that. And I can't imagine what would have happened and if somebody would have been swept up when that truck was launching into the lake. But here's the deal. The universe was looking out for people in that area, I believe, yesterday afternoon, because the weather was so chilly, and at some point there were snow flurries out that I think people just kind of hunkered down and stayed in yesterday. If it had been 75 degrees and sunny, we probably would have had a number of people in that area.
I agree 100%. You're absolutely correct. And actually, please, I appreciate you mentioning some sort of recognition or something at a city council meeting. We have had times when we have had other people. Unfortunately, when you live on Earth right now in a community, tragic things happen, and we've had other difficult things happen in our community in the past. Every community does, and we have had heroes step up, whether it was a medical emergency that happened at Costco not too long ago this last fall, and we had folks jump in and save a gentleman's life. And these kind of unexpected things happen, and we never see them coming. But it doesn't surprise me at all that our community and the folks right there in the area ran to go save. Dave, you mentioned if you ever feel downhearted about our condition right now, the state of affairs right now. And that's exactly the thought that I had. If you ever start to feel like our best days are behind us, maybe turn off all of the external noise telling you that and pay attention to your neighbors and your people, because I believe this is who we really are. I know it's who we are in South Jordan, and I appreciate so much the great people who still do this. I know they exist everywhere, and I hang my hat on that every day. I hold on to that. That gives me hope. Those people, all of the good people around us, give me hope.
Mayor Ramsey, thank you so much for joining us. I will never forget this video. This was so incredible when people started pouring out of their homes. It wasn't a jog. It wasn't a curiosity. It was a sprint to save someone's life, and it was absolutely heroic.
At KSL News Radio, we have a 30-year legacy of honoring Utah teachers, but we can't do it without your help. Please tell us about an important teacher in your life on the KSL Teacher Tribute Wall, presented by Cypress Credit Union. Each month, one lucky teacher wins a $500 gift card from Cypress Credit Union, a $250 gift card to Harmon's, plus season tickets to Hale Center Theater. Say thanks to your teacher today at kslnewsradio.com/teacher from Cypress Credit Union and KSL News Radio.
One of the hardest things to do if you're looking to lose some weight is to stay on a program. There are a lot of programs out there that show results, but can you stay on the program? And I will tell you, that is the thing I love best about Salt Lake City Fat Loss, is it made it so simple for me to follow the program, to understand what I was doing, that I could stay on the program. And then because you're motivated, you stay on the program, you lose incredible amounts of weight. I lost 57 pounds in 60 days. I've talked to so many people that come up to me like, Dave, I lost 25, I lost 30, I lost 35 pounds. Saw some incredible results with Salt Lake City Fat Loss, and I'm so excited for them. But you have to do it. You got to put in the work. And if you're ready to do that, I would encourage you, give them a call, set up a free consultation with Salt Lake City Fat Loss. By going to their website, you're going to get an extra $200 off the program. Right now, a great little spring special. SLC Fat Loss is, slcfatloss.com is the website. Just visit slcfatloss.com.
Spring fever is heating up, and Motorsportsland's Markdown Madness event is just beginning. Don't miss your chance to save big on your dream RV. Now through April 26th, score unbeatable deals on Utah's best RV selection. New travel trailers from $5 a day, fifth wheels from $14, and motorhomes starting at just $35 a day. With no hidden fees, just upfront pricing and a low-pressure buying environment. And mark your calendar for RV University, April 26th. Free seminars led by top manufacturers and our expert team. Seating is limited, so reserve your spot now at motorsportsland.com. For over 55 years, families have trusted Motorsportsland for honest pricing, flexible financing, expert service, and the best parts inventory in Utah. Markdown Madness ends April 26th, so come into a Motorsportsland RV Center today and let us help you get away.
Let Motorsportsland help you get away.
Motorsportsland.com.
Welcome to Staples.
Hi, I hear Staples prints it all.
Oh, you bet. Posters, banners.
Can you print it all for Mother's Day?
Oh, of course. Photo gifts like canvas prints, photo puzzles.
Can you print it all for graduation?
Sure can. Custom cards and invites.
Can you print a huge banner with the grad's picture?
Oh, definitely.
Even an embarrassing baby picture?
Oh, those are the best kind.
I know, right?
Print it all for moms and grads at Staples. And right now, get 40% off custom cards, invites, and photo gifts. N75 exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Utah's #1 roofing contractor is now booking for spring, and what an opportunity. If you've been thinking it's time for a new roof, call IWC Roofing right now. Start of the season. They'll give you $1,500 off the quote on your new roof. IWC roofs more homes than any other company in Utah, and they're the highest rated roofing contractor in the state. And wait, it gets better. Instead of turning your world into chaos for an entire week, IWC will finish your project in a single day. Along the way, they'll even send you updates and pictures from the roof so you know exactly what you're getting. And when they're done, they'll power wash your driveway just to say thank you. IWC gives you the best warranty in the business, backed by Owens Corning, and that extra $1,500 off. They offer flexible payment options, the best pricing, and $1,500 off. Call 801-232-5690. That's 801-232-5690, or just go to iwcroofingutah.com.
KSL FM Midvale, KSL Salt Lake City.
10 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story, the Utah Highway Patrol is trying to find a truck and its driver after a huge load of paper was dumped onto I-215 this morning, shutting down westbound lanes for traffic for several hours.
Had a vehicle that was carrying a large quantity of paper, partially shredded paper, that lost the load on 215 westbound, right about on the Redwood structure. It was so thick in spots that we had to have UDOT come out with a loader and a dump truck to clean this up. So it was just not a safe condition.
Lieutenant Cameron Roden says it had been raining and the road was wet, making the paper stick to the road. Utah is one step closer to implementing new laws passed this last legislative session. The bills removing fluoride from drinking water and banning certain flags on government property go into effect May 7th. Our top national story this hour from ABC News. In Vatican City, Good Friday services are underway in St. Peter's Basilica. U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance and his family are also there visiting for the Easter weekend. Pope Francis is not attending the services. He is still recovering from his February hospitalization with pneumonia. The markets are closed for this Good Friday, but we'll get a look at KSL weather coming up. Clouds today, sunshine tomorrow. That's just ahead. KSL News Time is 10:02.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
For over 22 years, speaking on business on KSL News Radio has been a beloved tradition, celebrating our heroic business leaders and Utah consumers who have helped build one of the strongest state economies in the nation. Now, under the stewardship of the Salt Lake Chamber and hosted by Chamber President and CEO Derek Miller, the program continues to shine a spotlight on those who make Utah's business environment dynamic and thriving. With his expertise and passion, Derek brings the stories of our business community to life. As part of the Salt Lake Chamber, Speaking on Business is proud to continue its legacy of highlighting inspiring stories, trends, and special guests. Support Utah businesses now and be part of Utah's thriving economy. More information can be found at slchamber.com. That's slchamber.com.
It's the movie show, guys, broadcasting live today from Minky Couture in Layton.
There you go again, couture.
Look, I will say it fancy because these blankets are the fanciest, softest darn things that you've ever felt. If for some reason you haven't felt a Minky Couture blanket, I mean, if there was such thing as a minky animal, then it would be the softest animal ever. Lisa, we're joined with you today. Okay. Now, everybody knows when the movie show comes to Minky Couture that it is the day to go and get a blanket.
Absolutely.
So what have we got today?
I'm so excited to announce today's offer. Now, Steve, I need you just keep your eyes on Andy while we announce this because I'm pretty sure he's going to fall out of his chair. But we have in store, we're having a grande flash sale. And I know this is Andy's favorite size. He's always talking about go big or go home, right?
Exactly.
So this is the largest Minky blanket size that we have, and we're having a flash sale on them. So classic and luxury styles are $110, and the hugs, Andy's favorite, are $130. So
that is an unbelievable price.
savings. Normally our grande hugs is $329, and you can get it for $130. So huge
this is
savings,
almost
remarkable.
65% off.
Yes.
That's almost 65% off.
Yes. So some great savings in store. Or if you're shopping for any other items, maybe you're not looking for a grande, we have 55% off.
Why wouldn't
but
you be looking for a grande?
For that price, it really is the better savings. Yeah, you're going to get a grande for cheaper than you could get a monster at that price. So.
Oh, my God. Okay, so the Grande Flash Sale, people are actually calling in sick to their work right now or suddenly developing a cough that they need to excuse themselves. Okay, so this is available. Best selection is in stores.
Yes, there's a small selection available online that you can shop if you can't make it into a store. If you're not near a store, you can shop online and still get, they have a selection of Grandes there. Or if you shop in store, it's going to be any Grandes, any classic, any luxury, any black label for those same prices. And then we also have all of our Easter blankets are on clearance right now. So a really great savings if you're looking to fill some Easter baskets this weekend. We've got some darling Easter selections that you can add for a phenomenal price.
But the big deal is the Grande,
Yes.
or the Grande
The
sale.
Grandes, yes.
And you got to take advantage of this. And this is today and tomorrow only?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, MinkyCouture.com. Locations up and down the Wasatch Front and MinkyCouture.com.
Teens can get up to $200 with a Teen Learn and Earn account. Plus, continue earning rewards as they master the essentials of finance. More at cypresscu.com/teen.
Traffic and weather together, brought to you by Mountain America's My Style checking account with built-in benefits. And here's Heather Kelly.
We still have snow falling at the extreme south end of Utah County, and it's making for very wet road conditions through Spanish Fork, Springville, and Payson areas. The good news is we don't have any crashes in that area, so you have traffic moving pretty well. And by the time you get into the Provo area, roads are dried out. They are dry throughout Salt Lake Valley and most of Weber and Davis County, unless you're on US 89. That is still pretty wet and damp, although the crash is still being cleaned up southbound US 89 at Main Street in Fruit Heights. So just be aware you're going to have a little bit of changing weather and road conditions wherever you're going. The future is here. Don't have internet stuck in the past. Quantum Fiber Internet offers next-level speed on a reliable fiber network. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Service in select locations only. Heather Kelly in the KSL Traffic Center.
The showers will move out today. We have a chance of reaching 50 degrees this afternoon, but sunshine tomorrow with the highs of 57, 66 on Sunday. Right now it's chilly, though, 37 degrees. I'm Amanda Dixon from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Listen online at kslnewsradio.com. We're Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Dave and Dujanovic, your morning companions for talk, analysis, and key perspectives on Utah's biggest stories on KSL News Radio.
I don't know if Utahns can make up their minds after reading this poll from the Deseret News that just dropped. So here's the poll question, Dave, that the Deseret News posed to Utah voters. In your opinion, does the United States government spend too much, about the right amount, or too little for the following programs? When it comes to Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, military, education, border security, assistance to the poor, in all of those categories, Utah voters overwhelmingly, in most cases, responded that the federal government spends too little.
Just the right amount or too little. Like, let that sink in. Now, if you were to ask a broad question of, hey, how do you feel about the U.S. government spending $1.8 trillion every single year that they don't have, everybody is like, no, that's bad. That's totally bad. Okay, then which program do you want to cut, Deb?
Yeah, because when you say just the right amount or too little, what you're saying is there's no cut needed.
Yes. Yes.
Very few of these programs did the voters who were asked say, oh, we spend too much. Like only 10% of people who were asked said, oh, we spend too much on Social Security. And only 18% said oh, we spend too much on Medicaid. 12% said we spend too much on Medicare, which means the overwhelming number of voters who were asked said, oh, we spend the right amount or too little.
It's hypocrisy. We can't have it both ways. You can't say we're spending too much over here, and then as soon as you say, okay, then let's cut there, you're like, well, no, well, not there. I mean, let's not cut there. That would be crazy, right? This is why we have to have adults in the room that say, I know it's not popular. I know this isn't what you want to hear. And I know this isn't what you like, but we have to do this. We have to cut this, because if you say, all right, you want to cut Social Security? Is your grandma going to be the one that takes a 10% cut? No, not my grandma. I mean, someone else.
My kids.
Maybe my kids, but not my grandma.
Not me.
Yeah, not me. I mean, I'm retiring in a few years. It's not me. Don't touch
me. Not my parents.
Yeah.
We're going to speak in just a moment to Deseret News reporter Cami Mondro, who is back in Washington, D.C. She covers politics for the Deseret News from Washington. And I'm curious to know, what her, reaction was when she saw these numbers. But which one of these categories sticks out most to you, Dave?
Military was interesting. I found it very interesting that most people think that we're spending the right amount, because this is as far as discretionary spending, so that's removing Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare. Military is by far the most expensive program that we have. We spend over $800 billion a year. And most Utahns are like, that's about right. 46% of Utahns are like, that's about right. In fact, 31% say it's not enough, that we should be spending more than $850 billion a year. So that surprised me. What it tells me is we are unwilling to cut any program in the U.S. government, except one.
What's that one?
Foreign aid. It's the only one that Utahns will say we spend too much. It's the only 56% of Utahns are like, don't cut anything except foreign aid.
But when you put the categories together of just the right amount and too little, that comes out to 44% say we spend just the right amount or too little on foreign aid. But you're right, 56% say we've spent too much on foreign aid. So that is the one, I guess most voters would say, oh, we're willing to sacrifice the foreign aid programs. And we've seen those, right, be sacrificed or be cut. People be let go, fired from USAID, for example, and programs get cut back. But one that stood out to me the most of where we said we spend too little, according to this poll from the Deseret News. And by the way, for just joining us, the Deseret News asked this question of voters. In your opinion, does the United States government spend too much, about the right amount, or too little for the following programs? And then they went through and listed like Social Security and Medicaid and Medicare, and Dave talked about military, and they asked people who were being answering their phones to what's your take on this? To me, the one that stood out is education. 59% said we spend too little on education. So the messaging has been from politicians, particularly in Utah. We've heard a lot that that's their priority, and they do put a lot of money, and they have made a lot of increases in education funding in Utah over the years. And this may go more toward the fact that the Department of Education, there's been talks about the cuts there and potentially even eliminating the Department of Education. And those discussions, of course, ongoing from the current White House. But 59% said we spend too little. So my question would be, is there a perception problem? Like, you can say you're spending a lot of money, or maybe there's a reality issue where parents who are answering this poll are feeling that in the classroom. They're feeling like there's a lack of funding, a lack of resources in the classroom. 59% we say we spend too little on education.
Do you know what I would like to do? I would like to call our bluff as Americans. I would like to say, okay, if you truly believe that we're not spending enough on Medicaid, Medicare, military, education, border security, all of these things, if you truly believe that, then we are going to raise your taxes, everybody's, dollar for dollar to fund every single one of these programs to make up for this $1.8 trillion deficit and then some. Because if you don't think we're spending enough money, then that just increases the deficit. Let's say this. Let's raise taxes across the board, no exemptions, and then ask this question. When we're paying 20% or 50% more in taxes to actually pay for this, let's see how you feel now.
After we talk to Cammie, do you want to take live calls?
I do. I absolutely do.
Why don't we tell our listeners what you want to know?
Please. You've got to pick one, folks, because everyone is saying we're spending the right amount or we're not spending enough. 801-575-TALK. Whether it's Social Security, military, education, border security, you have to pick one that you're willing to cut. Give us a call, 801-575-TALK.
Cammie Mondo with the Deseret News. She's a congressional correspondent for the D News. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. We're just picking through this poll here, and to me, to Dave, what stood out is most people who were asked said we're spending the right amount or too little money on a lot of these programs. But we wanted to ask you, when you saw these numbers roll in and you started writing this article for the D News, what stood out to you the most about this poll?
Right. There were a lot of surprises in this poll. As you said, I agree that I was very surprised with the number of people who thought that, we're already spending the right amount or we shouldn't be cutting more spending, especially in the age of, DOGE and the Trump administration trying to find all of these spending cuts and people really championing that. It was surprising to me that, especially in areas like Social Security, Medicaid, and Medicare, which those are programs that are especially being looked at right now for spending cuts, it seems like Utahns don't want those programs to be touched, which really puts Congress and the Trump administration in a tricky position to find cuts at all.
Cuts in general are unpopular because they directly affect us, right? It's going to affect our grandparents if they cut back Social Security. But I am interested. The one thing that we seemed united on, at least here in Utah, is foreign aid. Can you speak to that?
Right, and that one was interesting to me, it being the only issue that Utah voters apparently say that we already spend too much on. That was interesting in itself, but it seems like at least over the last few years up here in Capitol Hill and Congress, foreign aid was one of the only things that, could get bipartisan support when we were, approving money to go to Israel or to Ukraine. And so it's interesting to me that now, after we were able to pass so many of those packages, some voters, at least here in Utah, are saying, okay, we've done too much there. That's where we can pare back a little bit.
Cammie, the surprise one for me, especially given the amount of money that in Utah is allocated to education, and I know this was asking about the United States government, but that 59% of those who were polled felt that, at least at the federal level, too little money was being invested in education. And 35% said, just the right amount. So it feels as though, and this there just could be a messaging issue, I guess, with this with voters. Like maybe when they talk about cutting the Department of Education, for example, whether that's eliminating jobs or sending funding potentially, back to the states to decide, what to do with it. Maybe people are feeling like they're nervous about the education spending being cut when we don't really know if that's actually what's going to come of all of this.
Right. That one struck me as interesting as well because, to your point, the Department of Education being talked as being shut down and a lot of states, including Utah, saying that they want education issues to come back to the individual states. I wonder if there is a disconnect there where, they do want education to be state controlled. But again, this poll was, the U.S. government doesn't spend too much or too little. So it's interesting that, they think there's too little federal funding, but still want it to come back to the states. That one did shock me a little bit for the numbers. And I do wonder if there's just a disconnect there on, wondering if they're worried if closing down the Department of Education would take money out of it. I'm just not sure.
I'm betting that we don't know exactly where our education dollars are coming from. I don't think a lot of people understand how much of education is funded by the federal government, how much of it is spent locally, because it is a little bit complicated. And each state is different. Some states will get 10% of their funding from the federal government. Here in Utah, we're around 3 or 4%. So again, I think we're speaking generally. Oftentimes, or perhaps when we get asked these questions, the specificity gets lost in it, and we just kind of have this general feeling, it feels.
Right, and I think that's definitely part of it because, every state is different. Every state allocates their money differently, and so I think you're absolutely right about that.
Cami, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. Very fascinating read in the Deseret News, Deseret.com. You can read this article from Cami.
So the question that we're discussing right now is the poll question that the Deseret News posed to a number of Utah voters very recently. In your opinion, does the United States government spend too much, about the right amount, or too little for the following programs? And then they tick through a whole bunch of different programs: Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, military, and education. Even border security was mentioned, where Utahns feel either the right amount or too little is being spent on border security at an overwhelming percentage. I mean, what is that? That's in the 80 percentile that they feel like, the right amount or too little is being spent on border security. But I want to get back to the specific issue of Social Security and Medicare. It was just a couple of days ago, Dave, that you and I were talking about this fictitious family that the Utah Taxpayers Association puts together, like their income. It's Bob and Brooke Beehive. It's the Beehive family. We love the Beehive family because the Utah Taxpayers Association does a good job of laying out, they're married and they have 3 kids, a newborn child, and together between Brooke's part-time job and Bob's full-time job, they bring in right around $96,000 a year. And what stood out to me from this report, once I get over to the section that lays out the Beehive family's tax burdens for last year in 2024, Social Security and Medicare ate up the biggest chunk of their tax burden. So they're almost at $96,000 a year in income, paying out almost $12,000 a year with their Social Security and Medicare tax. Let's break that down. That's $1,000 a month of their paychecks going to Social Security and Medicare entitlement programs. When you come over here to the Deseret News poll, and I see that 46% say too little money from the federal government is being spent on Social Security, and too little, they're not spending enough money on Medicare either. Either they're spending the right amount or too little on Medicare. I mean, it's like overwhelming percentage of 88% say that for Medicare. Look, Bob and Brooke Beehive don't have another dime to give from their tax burden to either one of these programs, as far as I can see, because that's just one of the taxes that they pay. They pay property tax. They pay state income tax. They pay federal tax. They pay auto tax. They pay state sales tax, to the tune of $31,000 for their total tax burden. So you tell me, of the $60,000 of their annual salaries combined that is left over for spending on, retirement savings, because the Beehive's got to save for retirement, right? Because we don't know if Social Security is going to be around. Been told that for decades. And they have kids. They got to feed their kids. They got to clothe their kids. They got to put a roof over their kids' house. You tell me where we're going to eke more money out of the Beehive family for Social Security and Medicare.
Because you're $11,000 a year to Social Security, that's not enough. So is 12, 13, 14, 15,000. What is the right number here? We are living on a credit card right now on the federal government. We're spending $1.8 trillion. I keep saying that. And most of America, 71% of America, to a recent poll, says, I'm concerned about how much we're spending. But then you boil it down to, okay, then how about Social Security? Are you willing to drop that down, to pay less into that? Oh, no way. I mean, our family budget, Debbie, if we were living on a credit card and we have this real world conversation, all right, what are we going to cut? Are we going to cut piano lessons? No, I mean, they love piano. We don't want to cut piano lessons. Okay, how about Netflix? Are we going to cancel all of our video subscriptions? No, what are we going to do on a Friday night? All right, how about eating out? Are we going to stop eating out? At some point, you have to make the unpopular decision to cut Netflix out of the budget, or to cut piano lessons, or eating out.
Or to cut Social Security.
Or to cut Social Security,
or
right?
Or to cut Medicare, yeah.
Now, I asked this question. I said, if you had to choose one, which one do you cut? And I would say, if I received this phone call, which I did not, and they said, Dave, which one do you think you need to cut? Which one do you think we spend too much on? I would say every single one. Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, military, education, every single one. Until you balance that budget, we cannot look at spending the same amount or spending more. And that is a harsh reality that we are absolutely either ignorant or hypocritical when it comes to this conversation. We refuse to admit that, yep, we're spending too much. We've got to change the way we spend our money.
Developing story that we've been tracking all morning long here for you at KSL News Radio. The Miller family is buying Real Salt Lake, our soccer club in Sandy, and also the Utah Royals, the women's soccer team as well. The announcement expected at 10:30 this morning. There is a press event happening at America First Field down there in Sandy. If you've been there, you know right where it is. We've got the media there. We've got several members of the Miller organization there. It sounds like the governor's there as well. And Major League Soccer Commissioner Donald Garber's there as well, Dave. So this is, you think, and I do agree with you, that this is a really big moment for the community.
The Millers are getting back into Major League sports. After selling the Jazz for $1.66 billion to the Smith Entertainment Group, they are now acquiring Real Salt Lake. It looks to be somewhere in the $600 million range. So it is an incredible announcement. It's big news to have the Millers back in the sports game.
And we will take this official announcement live the moment it happens, and we expect it any minute. So stand by with us.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa this weekend only, today through Sunday. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa this weekend only, today through Sunday. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates this weekend only. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Hot tub starting at $2,999. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Today, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission, free parking, free delivery. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055. 800-783-8055.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Movie show, guys. Andy Farnsworth and Steve Sales, and we're at Minky Couture in Layton right now. Sorry, it's hard to say those things in a row because I feel like I want to really hit the T in each word. Layton, Minky Couture. And so I overemphasize, but I cannot overemphasize how soft these blankets are. Oh. Literally my favorite thing. I have told you before, the only thing I have had on my bed since I got it is this blanket. If it's summer, I will sleep on top of it. If it's winter, I will sleep
underneath it. Yep.
And I don't want to give it up. And today, oh my goodness, Lisa, today, the deal of deals. People have already started coming in.
Yes, they have been flocking in. It's wonderful. So we have an amazing deal going on this weekend. We have a grande flash sale. Our classic and luxury grandes are $110, and the
I'm looking for the sizes for the grande.
I
don't have it memorized.
$130. So the grande is a 5x7.
5 foot by 7 foot blanket.
Mm-hmm.
And the grande hug you can get for
$130.
That is such
yeah,
an amazing
normally
deal.
$329. So an incredible offer to take advantage of this weekend. There's lots, right? We're coming up into another gift-giving season, whether it's a wedding that's coming up or graduations, birthdays. I mean, there's so many reasons. Mother's Day, like, guys, get ahead of the holidays.
What about a minky robe? Do you guys have robes?
Yes, yeah, we still have our robes. Not as large of a selection, but
I feel like
we
Mom
still
would never
have robes.
hate having a minky robe on
Yes.
any day of the year.
Yep, we still have our robes, and we've got them here in store.
With their little bunny
And they're-
slippers.
They're $99 right now, the robes.
Did I see a minky bag?
Yes.
You guys have literally
Like a tote
everything.
bag kind of thing?
Yes. So we have a plush tote bag, but then we also have our everything bag, which literally you can put everything in. It's a great travel bag, and those are on a special feature for the month of April. They're $89 in store, so a really great deal on our everything bag.
Who needs
What's
Louis
this? Do you have
Vuitton
pajamas
if you
too,
can
or-
get minky couture?
Pajamas, yes.
You have pajamas now?
Yep. We have a pajama line that's super darling. Mom would love pajamas as well. There's so many things in store for you to come check out.
All right, come and take advantage of all the deals. Best selection is in store at Minky Couture. We're at Layton. Come say hi to us between now and 1 o'clock.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Radio, I'm Amanda Dixon. KSL's top story this hour. It's happening right now. The Larry H. Miller Company is announcing the details about their purchase of Real Salt Lake and the Utah Royals soccer clubs from the Smith Entertainment Group. We have a reporter at the news conference at America First Field, and he'll bring us all the details. In fact, that's happening right now.
Yeah, Amanda, thank you so much. We're going to take you there live right now to America First Field, where it's being announced that the Millers are becoming owners of Real Salt Lake and the Utah Royals.
To the city and the state of Utah, absolutely incredible. As we begin, we'd like to acknowledge the presence of several community and business leaders who are with us today. Commissioner Jessica Berman, National Women's Soccer League. Commissioner Don Garber, Major League Soccer. Governor Spencer Cox. Sandy Mayor Monica Zoltansky. Elder D. Todd Christofferson of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Elder Michael T. Ringwood of the 70, also of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Members of the Utah State Legislature, Sandy City Council, and Salt Lake County Council. And most importantly, Gail Miller and the Miller Sports Group. Today we have an exciting lineup of speakers in order. Larry H. Miller, Company CEO Steve Starks. Club owner David Blitzer. Larry H. Miller, Company Board Chairman Stephen Miller. And Major League Soccer Commissioner Don Garber and National Women's Soccer League Commissioner Jessica Berman and Governor Spencer Cox. Following our remarks today, we'll have the opportunities for 1v1s and the media interviews. But first, I'm very excited. Let's get started and roll this video. This place is special. The beauty of our mountains, the vibrancy of our state.
They're showing a video right now, Dave, while we wait for the official announcement, but essentially this is it, that the Miller family is buying Real Salt Lake and also the Utah Royals, which is the women's soccer team. Do we have a dollar amount while we wait for folks to take the podium there for the official announcement? Do we have a dollar amount and how much they're paying for these teams?
Reports are putting it somewhere in the $600 million range, which is pretty incredible because the Smith Entertainment Group, David Blitzer, who currently owns Real Salt Lake, I think they paid about $400 million for it. So it has certainly jumped up in value over the last couple of years.
And that video that they're showing is some of the most, exciting moments over the years for Real Salt Lake. And now it appears the lineup is Steve Miller.
Good morning, and thank you, Brian. Thank you, all of you, for being here.
Chair of the
we are humbled
Larry H. Miller
and
Company.
grateful for this announcement. I can tell you that one thing I already like better about soccer is the height of the podiums versus the NBA. And so I'm grateful for that. We're off to a good start. 20 years ago, as Brian mentioned, Real Salt Lake played its first game in Utah. And then in the 2 decades since that time, Both Real Salt Lake and the Utah Royals have become a wonderful part of the community and have built passionate fan bases.
This is Steve Stark speaking right now. He's the CEO of the Larry H. Miller Company.
We are excited to announce
listen.
Miller Family and Miller Sports and Entertainment have finalized our acquisition of the controlling interest in both Real Salt Lake and the Utah Royals. We are humbled, again, by this opportunity to become stewards of these franchises and to build on the strong foundation and legacy that has been built over these decades. And we couldn't be happier that David Blitzer continues to be invested and a partner in the club. David first became the first person, although he denies this, we did fact check it, the first person to own franchises in the NFL, the NBA, NHL, Major League Soccer, I might be missing one, and 8 European soccer teams. He is a sports icon and legend. We're grateful for his partnership. This partnership came together really easily because we share a commitment to building community and culture, championship teams in a values-based way. And again, we're thrilled to remain his partner. We also want to thank the other individuals, many of whom are here today, who remain invested in these clubs. This is a great collection of individuals from all over the country, leaders in business and finance and sports, and we're honored to be your partner and grateful that you have chosen to stay in, and we look forward to building together. We also want to thank Ryan and Ashley Smith, who became a local investor with David Blitzer in 2022. And while they will no longer be investors or owners in the club, we're grateful for their contribution during that time. Today's announcement reflects the Miller family's legacy of sports leadership and the next generation's passion and ongoing commitment to Utah and in helping build the community through sports. Utah has incredible momentum right now. It is the world's most popular, has incredible momentum right now. It's the youngest state in the country, the fastest growing state, has a top economy. There are great tailwinds. We are excited to see the Olympics come back in 2034. The tailwinds align really complementary with soccer. Soccer is the world's most global sport, most popular sport, and it has enormous tailwinds and about to have that in this country as well. We will have the Men's World Cup here, the Los Angeles 28 Olympics, the Women's World Cup in 2031. And so we're excited about Utah, we're excited about the future of soccer, and are grateful for the momentum behind both of those great institutions. Our organization had the opportunity to meet with players from both teams this week, and we were humbled and excited to meet with these amazing athletes that represent over 14 countries. We met with them, and you could feel their hunger to be great at what they do, their enthusiasm for the sport. And we all left that meeting even more excited about this investment and this acquisition. And we're excited to tell their story. We believe that some of these athletes have a story to tell, and we ask that you help tell that story. This place has passionate fans. We fill this place, and we ask that you help tell the story of these athletes, and particularly on the Royals side, as they've re-entered the market the last couple years. We're excited to tell that story and to embrace women's soccer in addition to the success that Real has had in the past. Today, we're also excited to announce a partnership with Unrivaled Sports. Unrivaled Sports is a David Blitzer-backed venture, and it's one of the largest organizations in the country that promotes youth sports at all levels. Andy Campion, who runs that organization, is here, and we're grateful to continue to invest in youth sports in this state. The Miller family helped build the Junior Jazz program to become the largest youth program in the NBA with 60,000 participants. Soccer has 100,000 youth and kids that play in this state, and it's the highest participation rate in the country. We promote health and wellness, the lessons that are learned when youth go play in a competitive environment, a team sport. It also helps give them a break from their phones. And so we're excited to promote youth soccer throughout the state, and you'll see us with some announcements, and this partnership with Unrivaled will help with that. And so again, we're honored. We're very excited about this. We're grateful for the passionate fan base that we have, and we pledge to be great stewards, to invest, to build together, And thank you again for your support today. And with that, I'm going to turn the time over to David Blitzer.
It's kind of tough to follow up Steve Starks. Thank you very much. I'm humbled to actually be here today, but I'd love to start by making some thank yous. So I'd like to start by thanking Gail Miller, Steve Miller, Greg Miller, and the entire Miller family. You're terrific, and I'm super excited to be partners with you on this exciting venture. I also want to thank the people who work so tirelessly here to bring us to this day. So Steve Starks, clearly, Scott Crace from Bolt Ventures, Michelle Smith, and all of the folks in the Miller Sports and Entertainment and Miller organization, along with the folks at Bolt Ventures, just put in an incredible amount of effort and worked incredibly cohesively to bring us to this announcement today. So thank you all for doing such an amazing job. I'm also very excited to work with everyone and continue to build on the successes of RSL and the Utah Royals, and ultimately bring championships to Utah. That's what we are all gunning for. The Millers obviously operate at the absolute highest standards in every way, ethics and community and doing business the right way and promoting the sport and health and youth. And so, again, we just couldn't be happier to be along for this journey. But I also want to give a huge thank you to John Kimball. John Kimball, somewhere right in front of me. John Kimball is an amazing person. He's an amazing executive. And John, I just want to thank you for what you've done for this city, these clubs, this state, and will continue to do. And so I'm excited to continue to work with you as well. Also, I hope that they're in the room, but a huge thank you to Kurt and Pablo from RSL, and to Kelly and to Jimmy from the Utah Royals. They're doing a super job with these teams, okay? Building on success at RSL, and obviously being able to bring the Utah Royals back to this great state only a year ago. And so we look forward to continuing to build on those successes. Thank you for all that you do. The broader, don't get as much, limelight, but the broader teams here, the business teams here, the sporting teams here, everyone who works in this stadium, they're so proud to be part of this organization, to be part of this community. You feel it when you come into the stadium. You feel it when you're just having a conversation with the folks who work across this organization. And I just want to thank you all, because you don't get a lot of recognition, and you all put in incredible passion and talent into everything that you do. So thank you all, those nameless folks who I cannot go through today. It would just take too long. And then I'd like to give a shout out and thank you to Ryan and Ashley Smith. Ryan is a close friend of mine, and Ryan was incredibly supportive and engaged throughout this entire process and through these discussions, and genuinely feels that having this team now being controlled by the Miller family and having Gail Miller is a great, great day for the teams and for the community and for this city. So thank you, Ryan, very much. And last, but certainly not least, I would like to thank Commissioner Garber and Commissioner Berman. I could say a lot, but in the interest of time, I would just say they are amazing stewards of these organizations and this sport broadly. Their passion for the game is incredibly clear. If you get into conversations with either of them, which I encourage you to, you will feel and see that. And they've also been incredibly supportive of this market. They understand all of the things that Steve Starks just alluded to, and they as well have spent quality time with the Miller family, with this organization, and we just thank you for actually being able to both be out here today here in Utah. It's very much appreciated by all of us. And then I will just say, I have loved the last 3+ years. I still remember being out here in, I think it was January of 2022, and seeing, frankly, this stadium for the first time. I've been in Utah plenty of times, but I hadn't actually been in the stadium. And it's been an amazing journey getting to know this city, state, community, and helping to give soccer, helping to grow soccer in Utah. Soccer is one of my great passions. It's the sport I played from, the time I was, 5-ish years old, and I've continued that passion my entire life. So to be able to be part of that in this great state and city and organization is frankly an incredible privilege. It's also been extremely rewarding to continue to see the success of RSL, but to additionally bring the Utah Royals, as I mentioned, back to Utah. Being able to do that and join the NWSL was an incredible lift. It happened very quickly. To be able to put a quality team and organization on the pitch last season, I just want to thank everyone who was involved in making that a reality. Again, you're generally nameless, unfortunately, today, but you did an incredible job, and thank you. We're all so happy. And then going forward, I would just say, I'll finish with, it's truly an honor and a privilege to partner with the Miller family and Miller Sports and Entertainment. This next chapter for RSL and Utah Royals is going to be amazing. And I'm extremely excited to remain a part of this and to be partners with the family. I intend to remain highly engaged. I think particularly as it regards to soccer operations, where we think, given our global footprint, we can add a lot of value. But at its core, having spent so much time with the Millers, I just feel like when I think about, again, how they operate their businesses, how they look at community, how they look at family, how they look at kids and growing soccer, and the amazing job that they do broadly in the community, I'm going to learn a lot, and I'm excited to be on that journey with them going forward. So lastly, I wanted to thank all the fans and supporters. You make the magic at the end of the day. We will always, always strive to do the right thing and to make you proud of these fantastic teams and the great state of Utah. So thank you all very much, and I'm going to turn the mic over to my friend and partner, Steve Miller.
Thank you, David. The opportunity to partner with you and to be welcomed so warmly into the RSL Club is truly a signature moment for our family. Steve Starks and I had the great opportunity to be in Chicago last week and to meet with the Major League Soccer Board of Governors. We were so impressed by the quality of the individuals and the other owners there and where soccer is going in America. We were also able to join Commissioner Berman and the team owners of the NWSL and share the same sentiment and excitement about joining women's soccer. Thank you to both commissioners for the trust. Thank you for allowing us to be along for this ride. Our mission is to enrich lives. We aim to be builders in all that we do, from building strong teams and world-class venues to investing in our communities. My parents, Larry and Gail, invested and purchased the Utah Jazz over 40 years ago because they loved this community and they wanted to see it stay safe and strong and to grow. Today, my brothers and I, along with the next generation of the Miller family members, we share that same passion for sports and for the community that we love. And we, along with Steve Starks and our entire executive team, our entire executive leadership have that same commitment. We also have they share that determination and love for making the places where life takes place. RSL Club's values align so closely with our family's values and the way that we think about professional sports. We love how soccer has grown here in Utah. We believe it's family friendly and that it builds communities. We built our business headquarters right here in Sandy, Utah, not far from where we stand. And we look forward and are grateful for the opportunity to continue to invest in the stadium here, as well as in these strong teams. Now, it is my pleasure and my honor to welcome and to turn the time over to the MLS Commissioner, Don Garber. Commissioner.
Well, what a day. What a day. I thought I would take us back a little bit on a journey, and I apologize if I leave from my script, which was very carefully crafted by some folks, and just talk about what is happening with this sport in our country. I get asked a lot by those that have been involved in the other more established and older professional sports leagues in our country, when will soccer make it in America? And I'd like everybody to turn around and look at each other. And this is an example of a sport that has made it in our country. People that are part of the community at all levels, part of the community from a political system, from the church, from our business community, people that care about sport have all come together in an event that I will say, having been at every one of our team launches and been at every stadium announcement in our league, this is the largest event like this Major League Soccer has ever had. And I think it also speaks to something that Jessica and I were talking about last night. It's the first time that MLS and the NWSL have had an announcement where we've brought our two leagues together at all levels. And the fact that we together can take this sport and combine the power of what makes sport so important and how it can enrich and improve lives, particularly in a state like Utah that has such strong participation, speaks to the momentum and the vision and the opportunity that this sport, this club, and our sister club, the Royals, can have in just making our country a powerful soccer nation. So I want to say thank you to everybody, and I'll have some individual thank yous, but this is really, really a special moment. I also wanted to give a shout out to Brian Dunseth, who very quietly made his opening remarks. Brian scored the first goal for Real Salt Lake in their first game 20 years ago this week. Brian? And there's staff here from both teams, and I'm sure Jessica will point out some players. But when I think about, from a commissioner perspective, what are we trying to achieve when we build a league? We want to create opportunity for fans, opportunity for community, but we also want to create opportunity for players. So Brian came through the system, played for our country, and now he is involved in MLS from a media perspective and is working. He's got a job in sport. Jason Christ, if you can give a little, and your compatriot sitting here next to you, Nick. These are two guys that came through the youth system, that played for the United States, wore the flag on their chest, played for many, many years in our league. One of them's in our National Soccer Hall of Fame. This is the foundation that we've been trying to build for so long. And now, with the Miller family joining this great family of owners and partnering with David, who's does such an incredible job in sport, David, we are really proud of this new generation of sports team owners that have grown up playing the games, have been really successful in business, and you're the next generation that'll take all your values and all your experience and lift professional sport up to levels that I think will take it even higher than it is today. So that's what this is all about. I want to say thank you to everybody that's been a part of this journey and will be part of this journey going forward. To the Steves, we are really excited about working with you. Steve Starks is a very, very well-respected guy in the sports industry for everything that he's done. And the Miller family, for all of us that have been in the sports business for decades, to have you part of the MLS family is really something that we are honored and really proud of. So I will finish
You've been
with
listening
those
to a
comments.
news conference coming to us live from America First Stadium down there in Sandy, Utah, where it is being announced officially that the Miller family is buying Real Salt Lake and also the women's soccer team, the Utah Royals. It is a very big moment for our community and certainly a big deal for soccer fans, Dave.
You have been listening to Major League Soccer Commissioner Donald Garber. National Women's Soccer League Commissioner Jessica Berman's going to speak as well, likely Governor Spencer Cox, because this is a major day. Having the Millers return to Major League Sports, where they owned the Utah Jazz for so many decades and did such a phenomenal job as owners there. Now they're getting back into the game.
And rest assured, we're going to continue to monitor this and listen in as we just take you here to a short break.
Will new tariffs impact small businesses? Rising costs and economic uncertainty can hurt your bottom line. But with Swish Funding, your business can stay strong. We offer fast, flexible funding solutions from $10,000 to $2 million for working capital, cash flow, and more, and as little as 24 hours with no collateral needed. If your business earns at least $50,000 per month and has been around for over a year, you could qualify today. Go to swishradio.com and use code GROW. swishradio.com, code GROW.
You know what's better than a limited time deal? An unlimited time deal. That's why the Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag with a Junior Bacon Cheeseburger, 4-piece nugs, Junior Hot and Crispy Fries, and small soft drink is available all the time. Because the best time for fresh, never frozen beef and Applewood smoked bacon is all the time. Duh. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot. For the best deal of all time, gotta be Wendy's.
Unlimited time does not mean forever. U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, and California and via third-party delivery. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada.
Make the most of spring and summer with Apex Shed Company. Looking for the best storage solutions in Utah? Warmer days are here, and there's no better time to upgrade your backyard with a high-quality shed, greenhouse, chicken coop, or custom storage space from Apex Shed Company. Spring and summer savings are on, and tell them you heard this ad and take 5% off any shed, saving you up to $500. Perfect for organizing your tools, expanding your garden, or creating the ultimate backyard getaway. With over 30 years of experience, Apex Sheds take pride in crafting durable, beautifully designed sheds built to last. Just check out their glowing Google reviews. Enjoy the sunshine without the clutter. Visit apexshedcompany.com or call 801-754-3334 today. Apex Shed Company. Nobody builds a better shed. Hurry, this offer won't last forever. More details at apexshedcompany.com.
It's the movie show, guys. Andy Farnsworth and Steve Sales. The movie show coming up in minutes, but we are live at Minky Couture in Layton because they've got an incredible sale. Look, Mother's Day is coming in a month. Easter is this weekend. Graduation is coming. You've got birthdays. I've got a wedding that I'm going to get a Minky for. I'm not going to say for who so that I don't give away the surprise, but today is the day to take advantage. First of all, you guys are doing a deal for anything. Yes. Outside of special sales, what's the discount today?
Yes, so we have code MOVIE55, which will give your listeners 55% off any full-priced items.
So if you don't want to do the deal that Lisa's about to tell you about, you can still get 55% off, more than half off, anything you're looking for. If you're looking for a receiving blanket, maybe someone's going to have a baby.
Yeah.
If you want to get a robe for mom for Mother's Day or pillowcases, there's Easter-themed Minky blankets that you can get. There's Minky bags that you can get. Although that one's not the 55 off because that's a special deal already,
yes,
right?
But there's so much in store that you can still use that 55% off savings for.
Or get a Minky for your pet.
Yes, we do, and we have Pet Couture. We've got I tell you. Anyone and everyone who's on your gift list, we've got you covered here at Minky Couture.
But
for sure.
When you want the gift,
the deal,
the winner.
Yes.
Lisa, what's the winner today?
It's the Grande. It is the Grande. We're having a flash sale on our Grande size blankets. Our classic and luxury styles are $110, and then our black label that includes our favorite hugs collection, yes, is $130.
You can get a Grande hug for $130. Like, you got to understand, that's
shocking,
a 5
right?
foot by 7 foot blanket that is the softest thing you'll ever touch.
Yeah.
And it's basically 2/3 off the regular price.
Yeah, normally $329. So it is an incredible deal. Just come and stock up, right? You know you're going to have a gift, to give away at some point. This is the time to get that gift.
I love it. And what are some of the so Easter stuff? What have you got specifically? Run through that really quick.
Yeah, so we have our Easter designs. We've got like a cute little carrot one. We've got some Easter bunnies, a pastel bunny, and then another little hot pink bunny with some daisies on it. Really cute, fun Easter designs. They're on clearance, so great savings there. We even have a coordinating pillowcase, which is $7. So really affordable thing just to like throw in that Easter basket just to kind of give it an extra cute little touch.
Okay, best selection is in store.
Yes.
The Grande sale is limited online, but
Yes.
it is full for anything in the stores.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so come and say hi to us at the movie show. We're in Layton. Other locations, Sugar House?
Yes, I have to start at the top and go.
Okay.
I got to go
Start
north
at
to
the
south.
top and go down.
South Ogden, Layton, Sugar House, Draper, Orem, and St. George.
And if you're looking to go online, Couture is spelled Couture.
Yep.
Not an easy thing to just know, but Minky Couture. All right. We've got the movie show coming up here just shortly.
Continuing to cover the breaking development down in Sandy, where it's been announced that the Miller family is buying Real Salt Lake, and also the women's soccer team, the Utah Royals. Governor Spencer Cox now at the microphone.
And I didn't have a real response to that because in Utah we truly believe that we're good at everything, and that's our focus, including sport. We really do believe that this is the best place in the country for sport, and I think we're proving that over and over and over again. And so these investments matter. They matter in big ways and in small ways. One of the ways that we probably don't think enough about sport, but something I think about constantly, at a time when we're incredibly divided as a country, there are very few things now that bring us together. Religion doesn't bring us together like it once did. More and more people are
KSL FM Midvale, KSL Salt Lake City.
Strong across the country. More and more people don't know their neighbors. They're lonelier than ever before. Politics is really great to bring people together. That's the one thing that it's at the heart of what's tearing us apart and dividing us. And then there's sport. It seems to be maybe the last thing that still unites us, that still brings us together, that still makes us feel like there's something bigger than us. Those rare moments in sport. I had one, I will say, just last week we were in Canada. Really interesting time to be the first governor in the country to visit Canada. And we're there, and we went to a Canadians hockey game, and they were trying to get into the playoffs. They're the last team in. They were playing Detroit. They won that night, and there's this euphoric moment. They were down. They came back and won. We're not Canadian. We have no ties to the team whatsoever. We spill out into the street. It's snowing in Quebec, in Montreal. The wind is blowing. It's awful. And you walk out, and people are singing together and hugging each other, complete strangers. That's what sport does. It brings complete strangers together and unites us in ways that very little can. And this is the last thing I'll say. I don't think we realize in Utah how lucky we have been and are currently to have really good owners. I talk to friends across the country in lots of different sports who have very terrible ownership. Their fans are miserable. They make insane trades that we're talking about 40 days later. Things happen, and they don't happen here because there is a very high bar that has been set when it comes to ownership of professional sports. And that started with Larry H. Miller and Gail Miller. They set the bar for what it means to be good owners of teams. And it's because they weren't just in it for the money. In fact, when they started, they should not have been in it at all. It made no sense. They were taking risks that were, you've written about it, we've read about it. It didn't make sense to have a team here. It didn't seem like it was going to last. Everybody was waiting for the team to be sold the next year. It was almost impossible that it happened. And here they are. They made money. They've been successful. They don't need to do this. And yet they're doing it. And they're doing it because they care about this place. They care about us. They care about Utah. They care about investing in the community. And that means something to all of us. So I guess I get to represent the 3.5 million people that call Utah home right now. And on behalf of those 3.5 million people, thank you for what you're doing to make Utah the very best state in the nation and the best state for sport. We love you and we're grateful for you. Thank you.
Well said, Governor. Well said. Thank you for those online here at America First Field for sharing this special day and this incredible moment. Thank you guys so much. You can find additional information online at rsl.com. We'll take a few key photos up here for about 10 minutes. Those who've been invited in the photos, please stay nearby.
So we're going to
we'll have
take
the
a photo
opportunity
op
for
right
media
now and then open it up for questions from the media. We have reporters down there along with our partners here at Broadcast House also covering this story. KSL Sports is covering it. We heard earlier from Scott Gerard, who is on this afternoon. He'll, of course, have full analysis with Hans on their afternoon show from 3 to 6.
12 to 3.
Thank
right.
you, Dave.
All
Yeah.
day long, they're going to be talking
They're going to be on the air
this.
any moment now, really,
Yeah.
probably, yeah. So in the next 50 minutes or so, tune in there, too.
But
as
big
well.
news, Real Salt Lake has now been sold from David Blitzer, who is the owner of the Philadelphia 76ers, the New Jersey Devils, and just about like a half dozen other professional organizations. But he has sold his majority share. Ryan Smith has sold his share of Real Salt Lake to the Millers. The Millers have a controlling interest. They are the ones that are making the decisions for Real Salt Lake and the Utah Royals from here on out, and we will see and continue to follow this story.
That's right. Don't forget, this afternoon, Jeff Kaplan on the microphone with more reaction to this big announcement today, and also our newsroom looking into, gathering up more details on this, this very, very, very big moment for the community. And in particular, one of the things that stood out to me was what Steve Starks, the CEO of Larry H. Miller Company, said early on in this announcement, and that is their dedication to youth soccer and to involving youth in the community. And that's probably music to the ears of a lot of parents who carpool their kids back and forth to the soccer fields across our communities here in Utah, day in and day out. That is going to be one of their big focuses, is involving youth and keeping youth interested in the game, which means, guess what? They're not on their digital devices as much as they're out there kicking the soccer ball around. So the rest of the day, the lineup, of course, Jeff Kaplan this afternoon, and the movie show guys any moment now.
The future is here, so why is your internet stuck in the past? With Quantum Fiber Internet, you can get next-level multi-gig speed on a reliable fiber network. Fair and honest pricing with no annual contracts or bundling required. And whole home 360 Wi-Fi to make sure your devices are ready to take you where you want to go. So you can stream, post, game, surf, like, and love to your heart's content. You do you. Let Quantum Fiber Internet take care of the rest. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service, and speed in select locations only.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear. Call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Ooh, ma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very...
Calm? I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
Hi, Susan. We haven't seen or heard from you.
Cold.